and everything.
I
All right,
know.
it's on.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna call the meeting to order. Note that Jeff Morrison isn't here. So it's good to see everybody. Hope everybody had a great summer. We want to start with introductions. Sandra, would you mind starting with us, please?
Yes, I'm Sandra Jones, and I want to mention a correction to the email, to the minutes, and to the agenda. Tom Lavelle is the school facilities member. He was appointed at the last meeting,
Okay.
and I am not.
Okay.
I thought that was the case, but I was like, did they change?
I did
that?
have a question. I did have a question, like, who is
All
that?
that,
Yeah.
huh? That you are the school facilities.
Facilities. rep.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Got that noted.
We
I
just
will
checked
make-
it in the minutes.
I'll
and
make
it's
corrections.
in the minutes too, so,
I'll have them make corrections on the town website too,
okay, right,
if it's not right on there yet.
right, right.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra.
Robert Kelly?
Owen Friend Gray.
Kathy Brosnan, I'm sitting.
Thank you.
John Moore. John Decker.
Michelle King.
Jeffrey Morrison. Talbot Kevich.
Tom LeVay.
Michael Kelly.
Awesome. All right. So now that we got introductions out of the way, I wanted to go over some like housekeeping rules now that we're starting a new season. So when we speak, let's not try to speak over each other, one person speaking at a time, you know, let's have respect too whenever we're speaking to each other. I know some of the topics may get heated and a lot of us are very passionate about, you know, our ideas and our thoughts and stuff, but, you know, let's keep it respectful, so. Acceptance of the last meetings. So we have April 7th, April 14th.
April 7th's been floating around for a long time, so.
Are we ready to?
I'm cool to approve that one. The other one we didn't get till Tuesday, so.
Okay, no worries there. I know the meeting was a last minute, so again, I appreciate everybody for making time for this. So if everybody's good with the minutes from 4/7,
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of April 7.
Second.
all in favor of accepting the minutes from April 7th? Minus Kathy, thank you. Okay. And then April 14th, we'll hold off until next meeting, sounds like.
Yeah, I sent, Lorraine, are you doing the edits to the minutes? Cause I saw Kelly wrote them up. So I sent my changes to both of you.
Might have written up, April 14th.
Yeah. Well, you both got them, so whoever wants to correct them can do it. Cause there was we should probably check it now. So on the other ones are just minor edits, but on the 414 ones, on line 47, it has Michael Kelly voting nay to appoint Brent Tweed. And I went back and checked the video. I mean, I was pretty sure in person that he voted yay, and then in the video I can make out that he's doing it. Mike, do you want to let me know if you were?
Yeah, I did. I did vote in favor of it.
All right, so just as long as we can make sure we correct the vote totals.
Yeah, you
'cause-
sent it,
yeah.
to me and
Yep.
Kelly.
I just wanted to check while he's
Yeah,
here,
gotcha.
so we're not
Yeah.
speculating.
Noted. And then if we can just, aside from that, once we get the minutes back, just be prepared to accept those at the next meeting. Okay, so I also wanted to go over the calendar coming up for next year. I don't know if I put it in the email, y'all didn't get the email. The schedule, I'm just looking at the schedule from last year. A lot of our meetings were on Thursdays. Then once we got down to, you know, the nitty gritty, we started having them Tuesdays and Thursdays. I really just wanna try to stick to Thursdays if we can, just because the holidays get hectic. I know we all have stuff to do, so if we can,
Are we sticking with 7 o'clock? Great.
if that works for everybody. I know, some of us can't be here until 7, so I wanna make sure that everybody has the opportunity to be here.
That
on
works
time.
for me because the budget committee meetings are not on Thursdays. They're
These
on-
are,
No.
no, this is budget.
Another,
You
but
mean other
the
meeting.
planning board
Planning
meetings are not on Thursday. The-
Got a lot of meetings.
I've got too many meetings.
Your other commitment?
Pardon?
Your other commitment?
My other commitment is not on Thursdays, right?
Yeah, you didn't,
Okay.
I didn't see an attachment for,
Okay,
And I will make
Good.
sure that they don't be on Thursdays, because if they want me there, because
Right.
we do this, so.
I'm sitting with you.
let's see, if we need to change the time as it gets closer, we'll just talk about it then, but tentatively 7 o'clock Thursdays moving forward. I'll edit the, calendar from last year and then just send it out, and if anyone has any issues, just reply all, so that way everyone's on the same page, if that works with everybody.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting, so on the schedule, the next meeting is October 7th. So the next meeting would be October 6th, that Thursday, the first Thursday in October at 7.
What are we doing then? Cause I mean, our schedule is pretty dependent on what the town and the school are doing.
Well, I wanna go ahead and set the date and like reserve the room and stuff, and then, you know, as the weeks move forward, I already asked Carol, I think I put everybody on the email, asked Carol for the, what she could get together for financials, cause I know the meeting was, you know, last minute, so she didn't have enough time, so I'm hoping if we give her enough heads up, she'll be able to have the school financials, at least what you can give us, okay?
I think it's good we set expectations. I'm trying to think, last year, I think it was the school didn't have like
Yeah.
a budget or a default budget for us till like pretty late.
Right.
The town came in with something.
Yeah, they
pretty
did.
early. They did a lot of changes to it, but they came in pretty early.
Right, and I'm hoping that we can discuss that in the updates, later on in the meeting, like, you know, I know Carol's not here, but I know you go to all the meetings too, so hopefully we can get an update on that.
Yeah, cause I feel like it was a little rushed last year.
It did feel really
I
rushed.
felt it was very rushed
I-
last
yeah.
year.
Well,
No.
especially if you're gonna drop stuff like a teacher's contract or something on
Subcontract,
us.
yeah, no, I agree, it wasn't ideal for everyone, but given the circumstances, I think we have to take that into consideration, so I'm with you, let's set the standard early, so that way we're not in the same position as last year.
Kathy, are we getting a teacher's contract?
We will get a teacher's,
When is the negotiations happening with the teachers union?
it's starting, I think,
Next
It's
week?
only starting next week? Oh, boy.
So are we gonna be able to attend that then?
it's not a public meeting.
It's not a public meeting, but the voters
Do you
of
wanna
this,
wait until we
the
go over
voters of
everything
this
before
town,
we?
no, I have a question I wanted to ask. It's not a public meeting, but the voters of this town overwhelmingly supported a warrant article to allow public access to the teachers union negotiations.
But those are, privileged information that cannot be shared with anyone until you reach an agreement.
Right, but aren't these the meetings where, some of the salaries for the teachers and things and the benefits represent a very, very large majority of the school budget, which represents 76% or so of the budgets that we talk about here. And the decisions that drive those numbers are made in these secret meetings, and we had discussed that, and that's what led to the warrant article, to have the taxpayers and the voters of this town weigh in, and they said that they wanted to be involved in this discussion.
That wasn't even on the school warrant.
Can you have this discussion at a school board meeting? They have one every single week.
Oh, this is very relevant to budget committee. How do we know how to weigh in on the school budget, and we're gonna be asked to vote and recommend the
But we can't make
teacher's
that decision.
contract.
We're not here to make that
Yeah, we're
decision.
not
Right,
here to
we
make that
can-
decision.
We make
This-
the.
You can go to the school board and bitch all you want to them.
Yeah.
I will.
Then that's where you should be. I mean, this is not, I can't make any
Yeah.
decision.
Well, this is the first time I've come into contact with a school board
Well, I just
person
wanna
in a
stick
while.
with the
there
agenda
everyone's
and have
her.
her, we can address the school issues whenever we get to the committees and the representatives, so I really wanna be on time.
Yeah, I agree, it's definitely a school board issue that, you know, we can deal with the item when it,
Is the school board willing to have budget committee representation at the negotiations?
She could probably
I can-
ask,
that's a
but
question
that's
for
not
the
anything she
school
could
board.
make
Oh, I'm
a
sure this has
decision right
been
now.
discussed. Certainly, they've discussed a warrant article that said that they have to open it up to the public.
Anyone in New Hampshire represents the teachers, and we represent the citizens of the town and the school. And you set ground rules, and ground rules, any in New Hampshire will not. been to that.
So you're saying that the teachers union, NEA New Hampshire, overrules the voters of this town?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow,
they-
that's
because
a
it's-
pretty terrible position to have.
So
But remember, you
Tom-
also elected all the people on the school board.
Right, so.
I
so-
didn't vote
so
for any
Tom,
of them
think
except
of-
Lori.
Think about
I
it.
did, so.
It's two parties that come together with ground rules. You know, when it comes to us, we can just say, all right, look, we don't think this is a good deal because we didn't have representation from the town as requested. So, you know, it's a whole deal that we can just basically look at it and say yay or nay based on those decisions.
I think
Well,
that sounds
we can-
like
we
what
can
we're gonna
debate
have to
this
do
at-
that.
At school board thing.
Right.
I just wanted to know what the update was with that.
Okay,
I'll just say a couple
Go ahead,
things. This will be the first in the state of New Hampshire to happen, if it does happen. Secondly, there are appointed people to speak at negotiations, and it's not an open forum.
Mhm.
So even if you went and watched, you wouldn't be allowed to talk. No questions, no nothing.
So, again, the
You
union's
observe.
setting the rules, not
So
the
you
voters
want
of
to
this town.
observe, you'll be able to observe.
The voters of this town voted for transparency, and I hope that
You'll
the
see
school
it.
board will allow that.
You can sit there and watch.
If they allow it.
They allow it, yeah.
Right.
all right, so I'm just gonna write down October 6th, next meeting. All right, I also wanted to, this isn't on the agenda, but I wanted to add in and discuss, our term limits to avoid what happened last time. Does everyone know, when their term is up? I'm looking at the town website, and it says, Tom Lavelle, your term is until 2023, okay?
Right.
That's this year, isn't it?
Right, that's this year, right.
Yep.
That's- So you have 1 year, this current year you have left.
Yep, Tom, you as well. Bob,
Me.
yep,
Yeah, 1
you
year.
as well.
Am I the only 1 year?
Do what?
Am I, oh, you 1 year too?
Yeah, he's the
He's a
1
1
year
year.
until,
But is there always, how many 1 years?
So you
are
went,
there?
you ran as a 1 year,
Yes,
all right, and Owen is 1 year because
filling in.
it's filling in.
filling
So
Filling
they're-
in for a two.
right,
He's
For-
finishing the term on a two.
right.
Right,
Oh, he's finishing a term on a 2-year.
right.
He's
been-
only finishing,
He's
yeah,
doing a
that's it.
1 year of a 2 year.
Okay, I see, I was just curious, is there's always one 1 year, one 2 year, and then?
No, there should,
Those
if,
are-
if
those are only people
everything, if everything rolls correctly,
Yep,
there's three 3-year positions every year.
okay,
It's only when somebody resigns or something that impacts the, you know, the 2 year or the 1 year.
okay, and how many 1 years are there
Never, usually by default, there's 0.
Whenever,
Because there's-
whenever
there's
someone
9
resigns or is not elected, in an
That's a
election,
question I
then
wanted to
we
ask,
appoint
Darcy.
someone and we only appoint them for 1 year.
For the for the
Okay.
remainder of that, for the remainder of that year.
The
Okay.
remainder of that year, correct.
then? Okay, so there's always really only technically 3.
3
terms,
years.
'cause I was just confused, because I ran 1
It's
year, and then
confusing
I
to me
ran
too.
1 year for 2 years in a row, so I was like a little thrown off there.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
it-
Chris Starnzell to kind of like give me the list, cause I have the term limit of everyone here, but I don't know myself exactly what it's supposed to be for 3 years, how many 2 years.
So then mine would actually turn to 3 years, so 3 year, 3
Right.
year, 3 year?
Right, yes.
Okay.
Carol Martin, she's up.
That doesn't count.
Oh,
because
okay,
you're
No, I
still-
thought-
she's just the representative, okay. Owen Frengray, you're up at the end of this year. Jeff Morrison, you're up in 2024.
Yep, you are too, right?
Yep, I am
Yeah.
too.
We're on the same, yeah.
Yep. Sandra, you're up in 2025. Michael Kelly, 2025 as well. Yep. So, John Decker, yeah, 2025 is,
We just ran.
So Michael, John, and I run in 2025, and at this point, no one else is running. But if somebody resigns or something, then there could be
Then they'll have to fill
somebody
that.
else for the 1 year
Yeah.
terms.
Okay.
But that's a
So-
long way off.
So
So come up
if, if everybody makes it through the rest of this year,
it's a big,
I like the
there
way
will
you
be,
think.
there will be 3-year positions
yes.
and a 1-year position.
Okay, 4 openings, 3 3-year, and 1 1 year.
Yep. Somebody quits in between, then we gotta
off to the races.
Well,
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to clear the air on that, so we're not all surprised. Okay. So I also wanted to bring up last year at the warrant article, you know, when we had the town meeting and the warrant article 26 passed, RSA 32:5B, stating that Nottingham would have a tax cap of no more than 4%. So I'm just gonna read it, and then, shall we adopt the provision RSA 32:5-B and implement a tax cap whereby the governing body or the budget committee, it's gonna affect us, like, obviously, shall not submit a recommended budget that increases the amount to be raised by local taxes based on the prior fiscal year's actual amount on local taxes raised by more than 4%. So majority vote was required, was petitioned by a citizen, and it passed. So
I guess this is a good chance to ask.
that's what we're gonna go with this year.
John and Kathy, if the town and the school board, I know it's pretty popular on this committee to overturn the results of an election and go against the voters, but, you know, are you guys gonna abide by the tax cap and aim to get 4% or lower, or are you just like planning to override and go for broke? Be a
So
little
I wasn't done speaking on what I
No,
had
I'm just
to speak about,
asking.
so, no, this is gonna answer your question. So we looked at 32:5B, and there is nothing in there that specifically states how we need to stay in that 4%, but that the 4%, is what we have to go by. So we decided that, the way we want to move forward with the 4% is for the budget. If we did the 4%, including the warrant articles, it would take away from what the townspeople can include in the budget, because they're voting for it, right? They're bringing these warrant articles to the town, so it's up to us. So we want the people of Nottingham to still have a voice, so I don't wanna cap that if
So you're
people
speaking
want
about
this.
the citizen warrant articles?
I'm talking about the warrant articles, period.
Well, you said that the people of Nottingham bring these warrant articles forward. but
Okay.
Most of the warrant articles, the first however many, those are the
Yes.
ones that the town and the school put out there.
To be specific,
The
I mean,
citizen ones are the last few.
I'm talking about just the town budget,
Yeah.
and,
Yep, that was my understanding, that's
Yep.
how that works.
okay,
So that
That's-
4% does not include warrant articles,
no,
just the budget.
yes.
Right, because, the key words here in the RSA are the same budget.
Yeah.
So, and that's really, the
What we wanna
operating
focus
budget
on.
is really the same budget year
Yes.
after year.
And this, I mean, of course, there's like extenuating circumstances where there has to be a huge amount spended on something comes up, within 5 years or every 10 years. We're not trying to add that
Those are
to
usually,
the budget,
usually
those will
paid
come
out
out.
in warrant articles every year.
Or, yeah,
Right,
or
right,
whatever,
we
but
just-
I just wanted to know that we're not gonna use that for the prior year
So-
moving forward, you know what I mean? It's gonna
So-
be the regular budget.
All right, so I'll make a motion that, we focus the 4% tax cap on the operating budget. That's our understanding.
Why does there need to be a motion? That's just the
Yeah,
understanding.
I thought that
Well,
was the way the
is it-
law
I
works.
wanted us to all agree.
John, is this a thing where we actually do have a choice on this, or is this a
don't.
vagary in the law?
It's not very clear.
Yeah,
It's,
are you guys making like a preemptive motion to make sure that like this tax cap can't be used to actually
No,
control spending?
I just wanna make sure that
No,
we're
I
all on the
didn't
same
even
page.
know this was-
That's what I
no,
want.
Questionable thing.
No,
No.
we're just trying to just set the rules so that
But the
we
rules are
don't
set in
have.
the law.
Well, that's the problem, the law's not very clear.
Yeah,
And I was just trying to set the rules that we all agree on.
I would like to learn more about the law and find out what this vagary is before we vote to obey the law in one particular way, if there are multiple ways to obey this law. It was not my understanding that there were vagaries with this law, but it sounds like you said that we looked into it and
Well,
I didn't know that there was looking into and there was questions about how it was gonna be
Well, I mean,
obeyed.
of course, we're gonna do our own research and look into what the RSA's and see if there's other towns who are abiding by this, how they're doing it, because if it's interpreted based on our opinion, moving forward, that's how I would wanna do it, right? 4% on the operating budget, that makes sense to me, right? I don't wanna take away any power from the people, whether they're voting on warrant articles, those are options,
You
right?
can't control citizen warrant articles anyways.
Well, I mean, that's just my logic, that's just the way I'm thinking of the 4% being on the operating budget, and I just wanna make sure that we're all in agreeance with that's how we
But what
wanna
if the
move
town decides to just take a whole bunch of stuff from the budget and move it all into warrant articles, and we have like a $2 million warrant article to
Well, can't-
fund,
And
like,
that's
can't-
up to us to
huge thing.
control.
Yeah,
that.
like, that's
Right.
something we would
You
be
know,
able to be
we-
like, no, that's, I mean,
Right,
we
because
obviously.
then
but
we're-
not if
that-
we pass your motion, John, then our hands are tied because
No,
we,
it's not.
yeah. Why,
No,
how
it's
is it not?
Because if they're moving stuff out of the budget into a warrant article,
Then
it's
they're
up to us
lowering
to
their
say,
operating budget,
uh-uh,
and they don't wanna do that.
don't do that.
They're
because
shrinking
you're
their
moving
operating
stuff.
budget.
Right.
So do you wanna amend your motion to say that
Why, there shouldn't even
that
be a
they
motion on the
shouldn't-
table.
Shouldn't be a motion on
There
the
doesn't
table.
have to be a motion then, if nobody.
Okay.
I just wanted to,
I don't like tying our hands up
And,
for no
and,
reason.
and let me tell
I
you,
understand that.
Yeah.
the Board of Selectmen in no way are trying to do something that's whatever you're thinking. We are doing everything we possibly can, and we are hoping that we are coming in under a 4% or really close to it. That is our goal.
And I'd love to
And
give
that's
you the
where we
benefit
are
of the doubt
saying.
and trust you, but you are a politician, and we
not a
know what
politician.
politicians do.
so
As
we
are
know.
you, sir.
Yeah.
So,
So we
Yeah, so
don't-
what, so you're a liar, right? Is that what you're basically calling us? We're both liars?
Yeah.
Okay, well, sorry that you feel that way about me, but it's not how I roll, but.
yeah, I was gonna go
second-
left,
I second your motion, so.
I think
he
he removed
withdrew
it
it.
from the table.
I can remove it, that's fine.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, good. I'll let Sandra go.
I have a simple, don't we have two separate budgets that we're voting on, the school budget and the operating budget for
Yes.
the town?
Yes.
Does the 4%, count for the school budget?
No,
Okay,
it's only the town
it's
operating
only the
budget.
town operating budget, it's not the school budget.
But the spirit of the
That's-
article, I
Big
believe
but-
most people that voted on it probably assumed that it does cover the school.
But
The
again,
school
that's
is
assumptions, and you
76% of the
can't,
tax bill. I'm
I know,
wondering
I
if the
understand
school's
that.
gonna make a good faith attempt to keep the increase under 4%.
well, that's
We can
why we're
hope
on the
they make
budget
a
committee,
good
right?
Faith attempt, but they're not bound by it.
I'm wondering what what's the mood in the room on the school board for that? Trying to keep the increase in the budget under 4% this year.
Trying to keep the budget as low as we possibly
No,
can.
no,
and
under
still
4%.
And still educate the children of Nottingham, and it's very impolite to interrupt people. And I taught kindergarten, first and second grade, and by the third week of school, they'd learned that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went to government school.
And so did I.
All right. Let's relax.
I am legitimately asking, are you gonna
Get
try
back
to
on
keep it
topic.
under 4%
I
or
do
not?
have something to go do, and debating school issues, which we have already clearly established are 4 school board items, can be debated there. Can we get back to the budget committee,
I know you
please?
said you were very busy when you wanted to be appointed here, but if you're complaining that it's taking
Okay.
too long, 20 minutes.
We're done, all right?
Fine.
We're not gonna speak to each other this way. We already said we were gonna be respectful. We're not setting a good example.
I'm
for-
asking a legitimate
I
question
understand,
about
and
the
you're
school's
interrupting me again.
goals.
Can you please stop interrupting, please? I understand that, and I think we all agree that it's appropriate. If you have further questions, maybe you can write them down so she can present them to the school board, so she can come back with, ready to answer your questions. I think that would be fair. Also, when the school board has their
School board
meetings, I'm
meeting
sure
is
they would
next
love to
Wednesday,
have you there.
6:30
So
in the
I
school
wanna,
library.
I wanna focus on the 4%
Yeah, I know.
tax gap on the operating budget.
Right, but it says right on the thing, school board representative, she's here representing the school board, so if I have questions about the school board and how they're gonna deal with the budget, you're sitting in for her, you're the temporary school board representative.
And I'm sure she can write down your questions, take them back
Right.
to Carol, and
So if you
bring
can
them
come back at the next budget committee meeting and let us know whether or not the school's gonna try to keep the budget increase under 4%, I would greatly appreciate that, as I'm sure the taxpayers of this town would.
All right,
I don't think
Here we go.
Okay.
We got 5 weeks before we're gonna meet again, so.
Yeah.
We got
plenty of time.
this time to,
Not to flag the dead horse, but I'm not familiar with the wording, I forgot it since January, February, but I was was under the impression that it covered the school as well, but apparently,
I was
That's
as
what I
well.
thought, too.
I thought it would be a combined.
I
That's
can,
what I thought.
I can read
Then
the
I read
article
it.
again if you guys want,
Yeah.
I can send it to you,
yeah, I mean, I could look it up on
So-
my own.
So the problem was that there are two, sets of warrant articles. And the warrant article would have to be on both sets,
Both ballots.
both ballots.
Oh, so because it was just on
Because
the
it was
town.
only on the town one, it only applies to the town.
So we have to put another warrant article in this
So
year?
the warrant article
to-
should have been submitted to the town, whoever, does the school ones. So
That's
it's a
kinda-
different,
Huh, who's seen that coming? But they did do a good job with the
So,
budget,
like-
I have to admit, they were 1.8, what was the town? The selectmen
Right.
did a lot of our work
Right.
for us.
right, so that's,
they did a
that's,
great job,
I have to admit, I mean, it is what it is.
yeah, I agree,
but that's
So we'll see
where
what
that
happens
comes
this
from.
year.
Thank you, John.
yeah. Okay, so,
And, I mean, I get the spirit of it and everything, but they're not, right, hopefully they abide by the spirit, but they're not legally bound to it.
Sure.
all right. Does anybody else have anything to say or any questions they wanna ask? I mean, we got 5 weeks to marinate on it, so.
Yeah, I didn't know if did they zero out the budget? You know what I
What?
mean? Like zero it out, so, say it was like $2 million, they gave back 200,000, does that come off the operating budget, or they go back to the original?
It's the original, so like if there's any deductions that are special or money left over and it brings it down by that much, we're not adding that to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that
that's not gonna be
financial
part
year
of
at
it.
the school is done, right? That's all wrapped up? Can we get a report about all the unspent money, like by budget items, like by line? Like this one was budgeted at 100,000.
Let's hope they get it to
we spent
us on time.
75.
Yeah,
Huh?
that they get it to us on time. I think they do though, whenever they, have it, don't they have the percentage of increasing or decreasing at the end
I
of
think
the
it was
column
just a
there?
total.
It's
I think they
usually
do
in
that.
I
there.
believe
Yeah.
we saw it last year.
Yeah,
It's in there.
they'll have the couple prior years, they'll have this year, they'll have the projected year, then they'll have the column of whether it's percentage up or down.
Okay, cause I know,
It was 430,000 last year.
yeah, you had asked
at
about that a
school.
lot last
All the
year.
notes, clip notes.
Okay.
Clip notes. So 430,000, it was, we were told because of COVID, so, see what happens this
Yeah.
year.
No, definitely, I mean, bring your notes from last year and stuff, so, for the meetings moving forward.
so is the school back to normal? Is there still COVID restrictions?
Oh, let's not ask about
Well, who knows?
that.
It's still
Let's-
early.
let's-
doesn't
This is
really
the
matter.
budget,
It's had a big
okay?
impact on budgeting, so I'm just
But that-
wondering if things are back to normal or if they're still doing,
All
No.
available at Wednesday.
Flu season's coming up.
what?
Wednesday, 6:30 at the school library.
There's a meeting about COVID?
And school board, you can ask the questions then. I
About
think
COVID?
I think we're gonna move forward to the committee updates. My son goes to Nottingham and I'll have you know that they don't have to wear masks anymore.
No, I'm just wondering, like, that and other things, is it just like totally back to
No,
normal?
I don't know about
As
that.
far as I know, my daughter's in there too, haven't heard anything.
That's great.
All
It's
right.
only been 2 days, so.
Yeah.
So, we'll focus on the committee updates moving forward. How about this? School facilities. Tom,
We were supposed to meet and it got canceled and it hasn't been scheduled, so
okay.
Are they gonna try to do an addition again? Or are they finally,
we haven't met yet, Tom, so I can't answer your question.
All right.
I would suspect so, but I think there are options.
Thanks, Tom.
That'll be
SAU transition.
All right, we have officially transitioned. We have, SAU, I forget the number.
107.
Yeah. I did miss the very last meeting, but, basically right before the end of the fiscal year it happened. So, but yeah, I don't know how things are going since we're over, but I assume things are going well.
We're still filling, so.
Well, I mean, as well as can be. Yep, yeah, everything's up and running.
people working over in the old town hall there?
And we have a new superintendent,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, yeah, we had a superintendent identified probably at the last report.
Is it a part-time superintendent or?
It's a
No, it's a
full-time.
full-time.
so-
It was in the
That was
town
the plan,
newsletter.
yeah.
They announced it, I think. Awesome.
I think that would help.
So
with the
we
budget
can
process.
Yeah.
scratch this whole thing off
SAU,
because
alright,
that is complete.
awesome. Alright. I haven't heard anything about capital improvement, not since last year, so.
They haven't started to meet yet.
Okay. Whenever we meet, I'll keep you guys updated.
I wanna say Tony Dumas, representative,
Tony,
he'll be setting up those meetings.
okay.
But it's
Okay.
2 more years, right? Is that 3-year contract last year?
With the bus, right? 2-year contract.
So do we not need that committee? Is that committee
No,
done?
I just made that comment, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. Do you know who the point of contact is, like the person leading that? No? Alright.
I mean, won't they have like bus issues or something? Do they still have a committee for it? Like bus problems, or is that?
No,
all-
so, from just personal experience, if I had an issue with the, bus, I had to go to, school board.
Okay.
Yeah, or the superintendent, which, the acting one. School board would be the place to go.
Okay.
Yep,
Another question.
yes, ma'am.
Was, speaking of things that are on the right ballots and wrong ballots, wasn't the, question about, voters or others being present at negotiations on the town ballot as well, rather than on the school ballot?
It was, which is, I don't know, I wrote on the petition form to place it on the school or the town ballot as appropriate, so I don't know who made the decision of what ballot to put it on, but both ballots were handed to the people of this town and they filled them out, so we know what the people of this town want. They want to have transparency and they want a seat at the table during the negotiations. They don't want them done in secret. And I know that the school went to their lawyer and the lawyer said, oh, you know, this is an illegal warrant article and you don't have to obey it. But you know the way the townspeople feel, and they want transparency, they want to be present at these negotiations, they want to find out how these contracts are written. And if you don't do it, then you got to answer to the people of this town and tell them, well, yeah, we know that y'all voted for
We got
this,
it.
but you didn't.
Thank you. Good, we got it. Does anybody else have any questions for Kathy, right? Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I got your name right. Do you know, was Carol saying when she'd be able to get those financials ready?
We have a meeting next Wednesday and we expect some financials, but it takes almost a whole year to get your financials from the previous school year by the time it goes to the.
Well, we're gonna need a draft of some
Yes,
sort or
yes.
some, I mean, I know it's
But
not
I
gonna be the
mean,
final,
It's
but,
not the final yet.
Well, right, it's supposed to be a lot quicker than that, but now that we have our own SAU,
We'll see.
it should be.
it's gonna be a lot smoother.
There's some
It
learning
should be a
curves. There's some
lot
learning curves.
smoother.
Right.
It's a learning curve, you're
It's a learning
correct.
curve, it's a learning curve,
100%.
but I still expect it to be better than it was last year.
Well,
So, okay, so where would we get that information from then, the superintendent? Like, so if I went to the superintendent, introduced myself and said, you know, this is how we would like to move things forward, like, how
The
can
school
we?
board should still go to the superintendent to bring this stuff to us.
Okay,
But, yeah, I mean, it's,
But I will take
It's-
your message,
yeah, and,
and our superintendent will be at that meeting.
okay, maybe I'll go then. It's just, you know, last year, I know under the circumstances, but it's hard to support
Yes,
last minute things, you know,
and it's hard to make decisions.
it is, and I don't, you know, I want everyone to have a thorough chance to go through everything, and that's where I want.
We've already discussed it.
yeah, didn't that happen with the contract with the
Yes,
paras? And it
yes.
was like
That
voting
day.
on it that day. It's
That
like,
day.
I mean,
that
That's-
was, in
that's
my
just
mind,
wrong. We shouldn't even voted on
but
it then.
in my mind, it was unacceptable.
Unacceptable, that is. I agree with you.
Yep.
That's wrong.
So hopefully we get the teacher's contract sooner than that, so, cause I think if it happens the same way, we don't know what's gonna happen, so. Does anybody else have any questions, new questions for? Okay, John,
Hey,
how's it going?
good.
You know, all the town stuff that you guys did this past summer was awesome.
I hope
Thank
people
you
got to
guys.
enjoy the 300th anniversary.
Thank you guys
Had a
for
lot of
that,
stuff.
because it was great.
Fireworks, hopefully
The
people liked.
fireworks
and-
were awesome.
And most of that money, just, you know, was they did a great job with the cookbooks, with the ornaments, we had to go, the shirts.
License plates.
The license plates, I mean, they did almost $1,000 worth of business from the shirts and stuff when they had the parade.
Yep.
So even at, at the 300, when they had the 300th, reenactment.
That was
They had
awesome.
things there too. I mean, the support for the people in the town have been great. When you were here on the parade, I walked the whole street, the people that were wearing Nottingham shirts, Nottingham hats and stuff was just, it really made you feel good about the people of the town that really supported and that actually care for the town,
Right.
So a lot of went into, Steve Welch did a great job with that. As for internal town stuff, this year we're hoping for everything is looking for us to keep the budget well because of the fact of our highway department only having 2 people. So instead of a normal 4, so that's gonna keep our budget down. For the fact of the police department.
That's bad for the next year.
Well, I did, but hey, we work year by year here. Let's not put, do what you can for every year it goes. Then you have the police department, we've had, some change of personnel, which has left us some vacancy time, which when there's vacancy time, means we're not paying, so that's again, saving money. And the fire department's taken, I think they only got 3 out of the possible 4 full-time.
That's good though.
Well,
4?
again, that's good, cause we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yep. But again, the process has been a little slower about getting it filled, which is good, because again, we're not spending, the money, but we've also been pretty frugal on things of what we're doing in town and deciding whether we were gonna do them or not. You'll see that on some of the budget things coming up. So I feel really good when for what I'm looking at, for when we come in front of you guys, not to have a brawl of words for what's coming up. So, and again, we are doing our best to keep everything, because pretty much most of everybody on the board, we don't want to see our taxes go up just like everybody else. So, we are definitely doing due diligence without trying to sacrifice public safety and stuff like this. There's certain things we have to pay for,
Right.
that we need, but we're trying to keep it under control. So, and thank you to the employees in the town for being really understanding. When there's possibilities to make more money, but still, sticking
Choosing
with
to
us
stay
and
with
choosing
us,
with us and
yeah.
stuff like this, and, hopefully that lasts longer than this, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But, and then business as usual, tons of little tiny stuff that's going here and there, but more this year has been really focused on, employees getting out of the COVID stuff, getting back to normalcy. We did have some, just right now, if anybody knows, terrible thing has happened. Well, I think it's terrible. We had a bunch of vandalism in town, on the back trails back here. They had signs all put up, with conservation showing trees and this here and stuff like this. And somebody came and ripped them all down and broke them. And they broke something at Marston's field over there, kicked a hole in the wall, and so if you guys know anybody or know anybody that had done that, it's kind of sad, because this is all stuff that was gonna be going for the 300th anniversary, and it's,
Stuff out here.
yeah, all the trails here, they had the new signs they put all up and all this, and they all got destroyed, so,
It's awful.
yeah, so, and the planning board, well, that's another story for another day, but if
John,
anybody
you
has any questions, let me know.
You mentioned that the highway department's down a person.
Well, we only have, so we have 2 employees right now, plus obviously the running manager who's running that, Sean running both. I think we might have just hired a 3rd. Remember, we need these people, because when it comes to plowing, we have trucks that we need to put bodies in to plow.
I heard the town might be contracting out the plowing.
Again, that hasn't been decided. We have all the equipment, we have everything there. It's all useful, it's all there.
It's a people
To let
problem.
it sit there and not do anything, and then to pay somebody else for their truck and their material.
Yeah, so that was actually my question, was
It's not
about
really
letting
feasible.
trucks just sit, is, I know that previously, we had heard at town meeting that there were more trucks than people right now, and if we're down another person in the highway department, are we still trying to get more
I'll
trucks?
know at our next meeting if we hired the other guy
Yeah.
to get us up to 3.
But my question is, are we still trying to get new trucks, like the ones that got zeroed out last town?
I haven't talked to Sean, because we haven't had the last meeting we had with him wasn't about future expenditures. That'll be coming up in the next couple weeks,
I'll hear
so
about
that
that
when we come with
instead.
you, we have that information. So we haven't quite discussed where that's going. I don't know what he's gonna be looking for. If, maybe it's just the 350 again, maybe it's not. So, but I don't recall to see any, us buying another 10-wheeler or anything like that, or, I think the greater fact is that we're not gonna look to buy a grader, we're not gonna look to, do stuff like this. There's some, the town, where we keep our salt, sand, and everything down in the pit, the covers, we don't have to replace the bases, but the covers that are on there are at the end of their life. There's holes, we're duct taping them closed, and if you can't get salt wet.
Get it wet,
So that's an expense that we're trying to, again, keep it in our budget for what we're supposed to be, but we know it's an expense, so some things from the highway department might get pushed off in order to take care of what's addressed and needed now.
Sounds like you guys are on top of stuff.
Well, I really, again, I'm not worried about having a conversation with you, Tom, let's just say that. So, and we'll get there.
You've reached the extent of my knowledge of the situation.
So, well, there you go, perfect. I guess I'll wait till next meeting. And that's pretty much it. And again, any other general questions, you guys know where to reach us and
Yep.
find us. I'm here.
Awesome. All right, does anybody have any parting thoughts and before we wrap it up?
So would there be, since right now, no Tuesdays on the schedule?
Right.
correct? So it'd be a lot more Thursdays then, basically?
Yeah,
to
I
make up
mean-
for it, right?
Yeah, there'll be Thursdays, but I mean, if we're thinking that it needs to go to a Tuesday, so that way we're not here till midnight on a Thursday or something, then we'll talk about that, the meeting
Okay.
prior and stuff, so I just wanna make sure that everyone knows Thursday for sure, but we'll keep it fluid in case we need to.
So should we just tentatively schedule October 6th, that first Thursday?
Yeah,
We'll
go
say
ahead and
that'll be our
schedule
next
that,
meeting.
October sixth at 7 here, I'll send an email out. And then at the next meeting, I owe you guys a calendar, so hopefully we can vote on the calendar. What else? We already talked about term limits, I think that's the only thing, unless there's anything else that you guys can think of.
I sent that email out about me being away.
Yes,
They have a problem with me staying.
Oh, actually, that brings up a good point. I was hoping that maybe we could Zoom you in or something.
There you go, that's a
Right.
thought.
Because that way, I don't know, it'd probably be the middle of the night or whatever, but at least you can stay current and participate.
What if you all?
Time zone difference, what's the
Oh, yeah.
time zone?
Right.
15-hour
Oh,
difference.
15.
There
It's
are-
good, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning then, perfect.
So, yeah, that was,
I'm up for
because we still
Hopefully at the
have,
right 15 we're going.
we still have that Zoom account, I
At 4
think.
in the morning.
I assume we still do. I don't know, John, do we?
If you could
can
run
we
them
look
on
into
Zoom.
it, who do we contact to look into that, Chris? Zoom account?
We haven't used Zoom in a year,
I
so
know.
maybe.
They're keeping it around in case we have to have a monkeypox shutdown.
The nostalgia
Boy.
of it.
Stock crash under
Okay,
that.
are you okay with the Zooms?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll get with, Chris and see if the Zoom account is still active, and then we can Zoom you in. Anybody else? All right,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Well, no, somebody's gotta make the motion.
Oh,
I thought you did.
What, you just did?
Usually don't make okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn at, anybody second?
second.
Bob, thank you. All right,
All in favor?
all in favor? All right, thank you, everybody, for showing up.